get this. There's a bill. It's moving through the Senate right now.
Oh, wow.
And it could mean a big boost to your Social Security benefits.
Really?
Yeah. We're talking hundreds of dollars more each month.
Wow.
And it could happen a lot sooner than you might think.
That's right.
So
It's not just a simple increase, though.
Oh,
It's not like they're just going to add a couple bucks to everyone's check.
okay.
This bill aims to change, like, the whole way Social Security benefits get calculated.
Wow.
Yeah,
So it's a pretty big deal.
it is.
So this $584 increase that everybody's talking about,
Yeah.
is that just a flat amount that's added to everyone's checks?
Not exactly. They propose $584.
Right.
That is a significant number.
Yeah.
But it's not like a one-size-fits-all thing.
Okay.
The bill outlines a tiered system.
Okay.
So what that means is the amount you could get
Yeah.
depends on different things.
Okay.
Like your current benefit level and how long you've been receiving benefits.
Gotcha.
And the way it factors in the cost of living,
Yeah.
that means that amount isn't like fixed. It
Okay.
can actually grow over time.
Interesting. So it's not just about adding, a few dollars here and there.
Right.
This could like totally reshape the whole Social Security thing.
Yeah, for sure.
What makes this bill different from other times they've tried to reform it?
Yeah,
We've heard promises before,
of course.
but this time it feels like something's really happening.
Yeah, you're right to be cautious.
Okay.
But what's really interesting here
Yeah.
is the bipartisan support that this bill has.
Yeah, that's true.
Both sides
Yeah.
seem to have found some common ground.
Yeah, it is rare these days.
Yeah.
So,
For example,
Okay.
liberals are happy about the increased support that it gives to low-income seniors,
okay.
while conservatives see the focus on individual responsibility, like with that early verification process,
Yeah.
as like a win for them.
Okay.
So yeah.
Before we dive deeper into this,
Yeah.
if you want to stay up to date on this bill and how it could affect you,
Yes.
make sure you subscribe.
Yes, definitely.
We'll be covering every twist and turn as the story unfolds.
Absolutely.
Now,
Love
let's
it.
talk about what this increase could actually mean for you, the listener.
Okay.
Imagine
Okay.
you've been getting benefits for, say, 10 years,
Oh, right.
and you're currently getting like $1,500 per month.
Okay.
What kind of difference are we talking about here?
In that case,
Yeah.
you could be looking at a jump to almost $2,100 per month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge,
That's significant. That could have a real impact on your life.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's huge. And what about folks over 75 or those on long-term disability?
Yes.
Anything specific for them?
Yes. There are specific provisions
Okay.
to make sure that those who have been receiving benefits longer
Okay.
or face additional challenges
All right.
receive a greater increase, reflecting their needs.
That's fantastic news.
Yeah.
For the people that need it most.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are wondering how this potential increase
Right.
might affect their other benefits.
Of course.
Would this $584 bump affect eligibility for things like SSI
Right.
or change Medicare premium?
That's a question on a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
And thankfully, the people that wrote this bill,
Yeah.
they anticipated that concern, the way it's structured.
Okay.
The increase won't count against SSI asset limits.
Okay, good.
It won't affect your Medicare premiums,
Okay.
and it won't impact eligibility for other programs.
That's great.
So
That's a huge relief for a lot of people.
it is.
So now everyone wants to know,
Yeah.
when could these changes actually take effect?
Well,
Yeah.
initial projections, we're looking at late 2025.
Oh, wow.
But this recent Senate vote
Okay.
has really sped things up.
Yeah.
We could potentially see implementation as early as like the second quarter of 2024.
Wow.
But there's a catch.
Oh,
There's an important January deadline
okay.
that could affect when you start seeing those increases.
Here's where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this deadline and why it matters.
So the bill includes a provision
Okay.
for what they're calling early adopters.
Okay.
These are people who proactively verify their eligibility before the deadline.
Okay.
By doing this,
Yeah.
you're essentially fast-tracking
Okay.
your access to those increased benefits.
Gotcha.
If you miss the deadline,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you lose out on the increase,
Okay.
but it could mean waiting several more months
Okay.
for your first adjusted payment.
So taking action sooner rather than later could put money in your pocket faster.
Exactly.
Does knowing about this deadline make you feel more motivated to get your ducks in a row?
Right.
Or does it make you more stressed?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Yes.
And if you're finding this information helpful,
Yeah.
don't forget to give us a like.
Yes, please do.
It really helps other people find this critical information.
It really does.
Now, let's talk about how people can actually verify their eligibility.
Okay.
The Social Security Administration is developing a new online portal.
Okay.
Specifically for this increase.
All right.
Separate from your usual My Social Security account.
Oh, wow. 2 separate accounts. Okay.
Yeah.
This is important for people to know.
Yeah.
What kind of documentation should they have ready?
Yeah. To make this process as smooth as possible.
Right. So you'll want to gather a few things.
Okay.
Your most recent Social Security statement.
Okay.
Your tax returns from the last 2 years.
Gotcha.
And anything that shows changes to your living situation.
Right.
Like a marriage certificate, divorce decree, or proof of a new address.
Gotcha.
Having all of that ready will make the whole thing go a lot smoother.
Okay.
And remember, scammers are already out there.
Oh, gosh, I bet.
Trying to exploit this.
Yeah.
So the Social Security Administration will never call you asking for payment to process your increase, your bank information, or any kind of fees to verify your eligibility.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say someone misses their window for submitting all these documents to this new portal.
Yeah.
What happens?
Don't worry.
Okay.
If you miss the window, it doesn't mean you lose the increase. It just means there might be a delay in when you get your adjusted payments.
Okay.
The portal will have specific time frames for submissions based on the last digit of your Social Security number.
Okay.
We'll keep you updated on those details.
Okay, great.
As they come out.
This whole conversation has probably sparked a ton of questions. For couples who are both getting Social Security benefits.
Yeah, of course.
How does this increase affect households?
Yeah.
Where both spouses rely on those payments?
That's a great question. So it's not as simple as both people getting the full $584.
Okay.
The bill has what they call household benefits provisions.
Okay.
Which take into account things like when each spouse started getting benefits.
Okay.
And the difference between their individual benefit amounts.
Okay.
So it's really important for couples to understand that their combined increase might be different from just doubling that individual amount.
So couples need to look at their situation holistically.
Yeah.
Not just as 2 separate people getting benefits.
Yeah.
This brings up something else.
Okay.
That I'm sure a lot of people are worried about.
Yeah.
Inflation.
Of course.
What happens if the cost of living keeps going up?
Right.
Will this $584 increase even matter in a few years?
That's where this bill is smart.
Okay.
It has this thing called an automatic adjustment mechanism that ties future increases to the actual cost of living.
Okay.
So that means that the $584 is just the starting point.
Okay.
And it could increase over time
to
keep pace with inflation.
So this increase is designed to keep its value over time.
Yes.
That's great.
It's a big step forward in protecting Social Security recipients from the effects of inflation.
Okay. That definitely eases some concerns.
Yeah.
But what if someone thinks that their increase was calculated wrong?
Right.
Is there anything they can do?
Yes. The bill has things in place for appealing your increase amount.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about that appeals process?
Yeah.
What will it look like?
The specifics are still being worked out. Okay.
But we'll definitely keep you updated as we know more.
Okay, great.
Make sure you subscribe.
Yes.
So you don't miss out on those crucial details.
Speaking of crucial details, let's recap.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways?
Okay.
And what steps should listeners be taking right now to prepare for this increase?
First, get your documents together. Your Social Security statement, recent tax returns, and proof of any changes to your living situation.
Yeah.
Have it all organized and ready.
And that January deadline is something everyone needs to remember.
Absolutely.
Write it down.
Yeah. Mark your calendar, and we'll keep you updated on the exact launch date of that online portal.
Right.
In the meantime, stay informed.
Okay.
Be careful of scammers.
Right.
And stay positive.
Okay.
This increase could be a really big deal for millions of Americans.
For sure. It could mean more financial security and peace of mind.
This whole discussion has been so informative.
Good.
And it shows how this bill isn't just about money.
Right.
It's about the future of Social Security.
Yes.
And making sure it's around for generations to come.
Exactly.
What are your final thoughts for the listeners? What should they be thinking about as we go forward?
This bill represents a really important conversation about the future of Social Security.
Okay.
It shows that lawmakers are finally saying, okay, we need to modernize this and strengthen this program for people now and in the future.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the question we need to think about is, how do we make sure Social Security is still around for future generations?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
And it needs a lot of thought.
Yeah.
And some creative solutions.
For sure.
But for now, let's focus on individuals. This increase could really change people's lives.
It could.
Help them pay for things they need.
Right.
Get better health care.
Absolutely.
And just enjoy retirement more.
Yeah.
Without worrying so much about money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about dignity and security for people who've worked hard and contributed to our society.
For sure.
Everyone deserves to live comfortably no matter how old they are.
I agree.
Or their circumstances.
Okay, so as we wrap up, what are the most important things for listeners to remember as we wait to see what happens with this bill?
The most important thing is knowledge is power.
Right.
You need to stay informed about what's happening. If you haven't already, subscribe. So you don't miss any updates on this bill or other important things that could affect your finances.
So while we wait for those updates, take action.
Yes.
Get your documents together. Mark that January deadline on your calendar.
Yes.
And be ready to act fast when the time comes.
And remember, we're all in this together. Share this with anyone you know who gets Social Security or disability benefits.
Good idea.
It could really help them.
This has been such a helpful conversation.
Good. I'm glad.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Of course.
And explaining everything so clearly.
Happy to help.
It's a complex topic.
It is.
But you made it easy to understand.
Well, that's the goal.
Before we go, one last reminder. If you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to like the video.
Yes, please do.
It really helps others find this info.
It really does.
And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in.
We appreciate it.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive.
That was good.
Into the issues that matter most to you.
Looking forward to it.